Is Giannis Antetokounmpo really considering leaving the only team he's ever known? A brand new report just dropped, suggesting that NBA's next seismic shift could be closer than we think, one that could change the league's balance of power forever. We're about to show you the latest explosive details on Giannis' potential future, the top teams already circling, and how this single decision could literally reshape the entire NBA. Stick around because this could change everything. Alright, the NBA world is reeling from a bombshell report that just hit. And we're not talking about just a rumor, we're talking about news from the insider GOAT, Shams Charania himself. Sorry, Woj. When he reports something like this, the league listens.
Sources tell me for the first time in his 12-year NBA career, he's open-minded about whether his best fit is in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere and exploring what those options outside of Milwaukee look like.
Think about that. Open-minded about potentially playing somewhere else? For a guy whose loyalty has defied his career, this isn't just news, it's a seismic shift. And the timing is everything. This report drops now, just as the entire NBA front office ecosystem converges in Chicago for draft lottery and combine week. This is the unofficial start of the offseason, where deals are whispered and strategies are formed. So why drop this bomb specifically right now? By dropping this bombshell when he did, Giannis' camp ensures he's the only thing executives are talking about in Chicago. It's a power play, gauging real interest, exploring every angle, all without the drama of an actual trade demand. Also, knowing who has those top picks for this year's draft immediately clarifies which contenders have the best possible package to make a blockbuster trade for a superstar like Giannis. This also cranks up the pressure on the Bucks front office. They need to understand exactly where Giannis stands. No more waiting. This moment is about leverage, and it's a masterclass in maximizing it. And believe me, the league is paying attention. Teams are scrambling. Shams' report says they're expected to ramp up due diligence on Giannis' availability. That's NBA insider talk for every single front office is now actively figuring out if they can get Giannis and what it would cost to land a top 5 player in his prime. For years, Giannis has shut down any talk of leaving, but this time, the door seems wide open. So, after all that loyalty, after bringing a title to Milwaukee, why is he suddenly open to exploring options elsewhere? What finally cracked the foundation? Well, Giannis' stance didn't just change overnight. There are some deep cracks forming in Milwaukee's foundation, pushing him towards his decision. Let's look at what they are. First, the playoff failures. 3 straight first-round exits. Despite Giannis putting up his usual MVP caliber numbers this season, another early exit. That brutal loss to the Pacers, it came hard and fast.
The pick.
For a player whose only goal is winning titles in his absolute prime, those early exits are crushing. The question is simple. Can the Bucks actually build a contender around him right now? Next major factor, there's the Dame Lillard situation. The Bucks went all in, mortgaging their future for a co-star, but then, disaster.
And he's trying to put pressure on his left leg.
Yeah, it looked like it happened before that play. Great presence of mind to tip the ball to the corner there, but you see him grabbing that left ankle.
In the first round of the playoffs, Dame tore his Achilles. He's likely out for most, if not all, of next season. That dream duo, shattered. The partner Giannis needed to contend now, gone. Next season feels like a complete wash. Adding to the crisis, the Bucks cupboard is bare. Their all-in win-now trades for Lillard and Kyle Kuzma completely drain their assets. They have almost no draft picks until 2031, zero flexibility. Plus, their roster is aging. Key vets might leave, and players they brought in like Kuzma haven't really moved the needle. They simply don't have the pieces to significantly improve the team around Giannis anymore. This is Giannis' impossible paradox, his burning desire to win clashing directly with the Bucks' crippling inability to actually get better. His deep loyalty to the city that embraced him, now tested by a team that seems stuck. Can he honestly see a championship future here anymore? This shocking report means he's asking that very question. If he does decide the answer is no, the bidding war for the Greek freak will be unlike anything we've seen. So, who are the real players, the teams actually hoping to land Giannis? If Giannis is available, every single team is calling Milwaukee, but only a few have the assets, the vision, and the appeal to actually pull this off. Landing a player like Giannis in his prime under contract demands a historic trade package. We're talking a king's ransom. So, who's got the goods? Let's dive into the teams being discussed and the wild rumors flying around the league right now. First, the glamour market theory. Insider Howard Beck floated this idea. Giannis might prefer a huge market, LA, New York, Miami, maybe Chicago. These cities offer the global stage, the lifestyle, everything you'd expect from a superstar of Giannis' magnitude. However, while these teams have the allure of big city living and massive market potential, there's a catch. Their ability to put together the most enticing trade package might not be as strong as some of the other teams looking to land Giannis. Then there are teams loaded with assets, exactly what the Bucks will want in return. Leading the pack, the Houston Rockets. Houston's stacked with young talents, guys like Segan, Jalen Green, Jabari Smith Jr., and more. You'd think talents like Amen Thompson would be untouchable, but for a player like Giannis, anything is possible. Add that to a bunch of future draft picks, including some juicy ones they got from Phoenix and Brooklyn, and the Rockets could have one of the most attractive offers for a rebuilding Bucks team. Next up, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has more draft picks and young talent than OKC. They have everything the Bucks could want. But there's a twist. While they could definitely put together a winning offer, there's some speculation that they might be hesitant to shake up their current trajectory and disrupt the growth of their young stars. And how about the San Antonio Spurs? Just imagine Giannis next to Victor Wembanyama. That front court, terrifying. The Spurs have exciting young pieces plus significant draft capital. They have the assets, the young superstar on Wemby, and the cap space to be a major player. And then there are the Dallas Mavericks, the team that just shocked the NBA world by winning the draft lottery. Against all odds, the Mavericks landed the #1 overall pick. This instantly gives them a prime asset to build around, or to trade for a proven superstar. ESPN's Brian Windhorst has reported that the Mavericks organization has held a long-standing interest in Giannis. Now, with the top pick in their pocket, they suddenly have the means to make a serious offer. While their young player depth isn't as vast as teams like Houston or Oklahoma City, a package centered around the #1 overall pick and their limited tradable future first-round picks suddenly makes them a fascinating potential destination. Pairing Giannis with a star like Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving in Dallas would instantly shake up the Western Conference. Keep an eye on Dallas. They now have an unexpected firepower to enter the Giannis sweepstakes. Don't sleep on the Toronto Raptors. Masai Ujiri has reportedly coveted Giannis for years. A package built around Scottie Barnes, a young all-star talent, plus their own draft assets could be compelling for Milwaukee, and Toronto has a history of making some big swings. And here's where things get really interesting. Because a trade for a player like Giannis' magnitude might not just involve two teams, multi-team blockbusters could absolutely be on the table. One team often discussed as a potential third party is the New Orleans Pelicans, precisely because they hold valuable future draft picks owed by the Bucks from past trades. Brian Windhorst recently explained just how complex and wild a three-team scenario involving those picks could be.
If you're going to do a deal with the Bucks and you want to open the door for them to do a rebuild, you may have to go to New Orleans, try to get the Milwaukee stuff out of New Orleans, and then offer it back to the Bucks. Of course, the Pelicans could make their own offer, but I suspect that what they're going to try to do is a three-team trade. All of these things will be clarifying once Giannis makes a decision and once we see what the lottery results are tonight.
What about the Golden State Warriors? Their names are always connected to superstars, but realistically, their aging core and limited draft assets make them a serious loan shark for the massive package required. Other teams like the Sixers and Hawks also have been mentioned in trade rumors, but they might not be as likely to land Giannis compared to the big boys like Houston, OKC, San Antonio, and now Dallas. When a superstar becomes available, the Lakers' names will always be brought up, and they want to be in that conversation. So let's take a closer look at their scenario. A potential offer might center around players like Austin Reeves, Rui, and limited future picks. But honestly, this offer isn't close to what the Bucks could get from asset-rich teams. Unless Giannis specifically forces his way to LA, then maybe the Bucks are forced to take less. The Knicks, they made their big swing from Mikal Bridges. Now, packaging players like Karl-Anthony Towns or OG Anunoby along with some picks is possible, but like the Lakers, are their assets truly what a rebuilding Bucks team wants? I don't think so. So here's the ultimate tug of war. If Giannis has his heart set on a huge market like LA or New York, that clashes directly with the Bucks needing the absolute best package, the one loaded with assets from teams like Houston or OKC. Will Giannis force his way to his preferred destination, potentially costing the Bucks future value? Or will he trust Milwaukee to find the best deal, even if it's not his first choice city? This is the leverage game, and Giannis holds the final cards. The million-dollar question still looms. Will Giannis actually request a trade? Experts argue that it's far from a done deal. Sure, the reasons for considering a move are hard to ignore, but one thing stands in the way: Giannis' deep-rooted loyalty to Milwaukee. He spent his entire 12-year NBA career in Milwaukee, transforming from an underdog into a superstar, a boy into a man. He brought the city his first championship in 50 years, cementing his legacy. Giannis has said time and time again that loyalty matters to him. He dreams of being one of those legends who stays with one team, like Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, or Steph Curry. Sources close to Giannis indicate that he's happy in Milwaukee and values the commitment the franchise has shown, especially with the trade for Dame. He even said the Bucks would have to kick him out rather than him demanding a trade. But this is also a player with a relentless drive to win titles. He's spoken openly about how much more championships mean to him. You can hear it in his own words. He's not just satisfied with one ring.
Are we satisfied? I'm not satisfied. I'm not even close to being satisfied.
That's the mindset driving his decisions right now. And looking at the Bucks right now, that championship window looks like it's slamming shut. For the Bucks, trading Giannis is not something they want to do. He's the financial engine of the franchise, the reason for sellouts, sponsorships, and arguably the most important player in their history. They're not looking to rebuild unless they have no other choice. So this sets up the most fascinating conflict for Giannis. On one hand, there's his fierce loyalty to the Bucks and the city of Milwaukee that has embraced him. On the other hand, there is his burning ambition to win more championships. Does he stay loyal and risk sacrificing his prime years on a team that can't contend? Or does he chase his ultimate legacy elsewhere? A Giannis trade wouldn't just shake up the Bucks, it would send shockwaves across the entire NBA. For Milwaukee, trading their cornerstone player would signal the start of a rebuild. They'd focus on developing young talent and maximizing the value of the draft picks they'd receive. They go from contender to bottom dweller overnight, leaving a huge power vacuum in an already weak East. But for the team that lands Giannis, they instantly become title contenders, if not favorites. Imagine pairing Giannis with a young phenom like Wembanyama in San Antonio. The thought of that alone gives me chills. Can you imagine trying to score on a defense with that kind of length and defensive awareness? And don't even get me started on having to guard them on the other end. That would be a nightmare for any team. The addition of Giannis will push a good number of teams into the upper echelon of the league, making them the new benchmark, the team to beat on paper. Across the NBA landscape, the ripple effects will be enormous. The Bucks fall off a cliff while a new powerhouse emerges overnight. Every other contender has to react. It triggers a domino effect across the league. Roster moves, strategy changes, a desperate scramble just to keep pace. This is the type of move that refines the NBA for years to come. We're talking KD to the Warriors level, LeBron to Miami level. This could fundamentally redefine the NBA. The balance of power shifts completely. The next 5 years of NBA history could hinge on where Giannis plays basketball next season. So the question becomes, loyalty or legacy?
The number retired. Maybe in 50 years, 20 years, maybe my number is up there.